Good evening, everyone. Just type in yes if you are able to hear me clearly. My apologies for being a little delayed today. I had some connectivity issues, just got it all sorted out. So we'll just wait for a minute for participants to log in because it was totally unexpected, and right now things are fine. Things are all normal. Great. So how many of you have done your task for day 2? If you've done your task for day 2, just type me in the comment box. If you've done your task for day 2, just type me in the comment box if you're done. Great. How many of you could find this activity which we had done yesterday gave you a lot of insights on how you're compounding your money, how you could potentially increase the way you are compounding your money? How many of you could find that the activity which you had done yesterday was very useful in order to find that you could potentially increase how you're compounding? Type me if you found that this activity which you had done yesterday gave you a lot of insight in the way you're looking at currently compounding your money and creating wealth. Great. Great to see you all, guys. So, okay, some of you are asking where to compound your money. So what we'll be doing is, like, today we'll be addressing this in the session today. So let's look at what we are going to cover from today. So let me share on this part. So how many of you couldn't do the task? Like, you couldn't do the task. Yesterday you couldn't do the task. Type me if you couldn't do the task yesterday. So let's see. Okay, there are still some participants who haven't able to complete your task. So we'll have one last chance tomorrow, because tomorrow it's going to be an amazing day, Independence Day, and I want you to see results. Being a Sunday, most of you might take off. Can I take a commitment? Can I get your commitment that no matter what happens tomorrow, that you will complete the task for day 1, day 2, and day 3 before you come for tomorrow evening? I want you to see results for you in your life. Can I get a commitment? Maybe whatever is the reason, I don't know what is the reason, but can I get a recommitment for you, that the one which you all had started this journey with me on Thursday, when you all gave 100% commitment that you will do, stay till the end of this journey? Can I have this commitment? Wonderful, wonderful, guys. Awesome, awesome. So remember, tomorrow's session is a live session. So in case you missed the recording of day 1, day 2, I want you to catch up. I want you to make sure that you catch up with the recordings maximum by tomorrow, before you come for day 4, because tomorrow we're going to deal a lot of stuff in terms of the wealth pyramid, which I'll be sharing. And also I'm going to share with you the 3 investing skills of super investor, the 3 skills which makes people the top 3%. Okay, some of you are not able to do it on Facebook. I understand, like, if you're not having a Facebook ID, or if you're not very comfortable, you might be facing this as a challenge, but still do it. you may not be sharing it, but I want you to do it and see the result for yourself. So tomorrow's session is live. Tomorrow the session will be from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We'll have a slightly extended session so that I'm going to give you a lot of my value. And also I'm going to share with you my next level program. How many of you are looking forward to it? Type me if you're looking forward for my next level program. If you want to know what exactly is that we have in store for you to go in the next level to achieve your financial freedom. Great, great guys. So don't worry. All I want you to do is like first, let's start with today's session. I know that we are just starting it right now. So let's look at this today's session. Today is going to be a very interesting day because what I'm going to do is like today, I'm going to share on a pretty interesting topic where we are going to look at the 7 money mistakes that is delaying our financial freedom. Like a lot of times what happens is like we see that middle class people, most of them, they commit these mistakes. So I want you to understand that these are the 7 money mistakes which we unconsciously do, or some of them, some of these mistakes which we do because of our lack of awareness. So these are the 7 mistakes which I've identified. I want you to be aware of this so that you put a full stop to this. Okay. So today's session, let me give you what I'm going to cover here. Imagine this is like a water bottle. I want to fill this water bottle, but this water bottle has a hole. So if this water bottle is having a hole, will my efforts to fill this bottle be successful? Type yes or no. Type yes or no. If my efforts to fill this will be successful. My efforts to fill this water bottle will be a failure because why? Because it's having a hole. Same way like this water bottle, you're trying to create wealth, but in your money management system or the way which you're managing money, if it is having some holes, whatever money which you're earning is drained away through these holes, or what we call it as money leaks. So today's objective is to make sure that you plug those holes. It's making sure that you're getting aware of where you're unconsciously losing money, and that is delaying you your financial freedom. So are you all ready for today's session? Just type me in the comment box if you're ready for the session today. Great. So let's start the session. So let me share one thing. This is the quote. I made my first investment at the age of 11. I was wasting my life until then. This was said by none other than Warren Buffett. Reading the statement, can you share what do you think is the money mistake? What do you think is the money mistake? Read this quote. I made my first investment at the age of 11. I was wasting my life until then. So what is the money mistake? Mistake number 1. Just type it. Let's see who gets it right. Okay. Yes. So today's quote, yes, it is about the pattern of starting late. So if you're starting late, that is going to be a big, I would say, like you are denying yourself compounding to work for you. So what you need to understand is that I'm going to show you one example, guys. So this is something which will really get a lot of inputs to you, because lot of times what we say to ourselves is that if I get more money, then I can start to save. But yesterday I told you that this thought itself is wrong, because what happens is that you create the habit first, then money follows. So the first thing is like you put in the seed. Without putting the seed of the habit, you cannot create wealth. So what you need to do is like first get this right. So remember, savings is a habit. It doesn't matter the amount which you're saving, doesn't matter. It is all about the habit. See, imagine like 20 years you're in debt and suddenly you can't create a savings habit. You need to start it as early as possible. So that is something which you need to do it. And what happens is like every day you're delaying compound interest, you're denying that compound interest to work for you. So every day counts. So this is one example. On the left side, I wanted to focus on the left side here. So just focus, make your attention on this side. Someone who's starting to invest at the age of 25. So this person is investing 1 rupee. Let's take he's investing with 1 rupee, maybe a 1 lakh or something. He's starting with a capital of 1 rupee and he's compounding his money at 15% growth rate. So what happens is that if someone is at age 25, they're able to compound their money by 15%. So what it means is that by age 30, his 1 rupee becomes 2 rupees. So every 5 years, if you can compound your money at 15%, it means you double your capital. So when you're 35, you make your 2 rupees as 4 rupees. By the time you're 40, it has become 8. By the time it is 45, it is 16. When you're 50, it is 32. When you're 55, it is 64. When you're 60, what started as 1 rupee becomes 128 times. So this is the magic of compounding. If you can compound at this number. And I wanted to tell you that this number which I'm sharing is not something which is an impossible number. It has happened in India. I will also show you in this session where it has happened. It has happened in equities. So we will look at this. But if you are looking at, you compare this with the person who's starting at the age of 45, the person who's starting at the age of 45 is starting 10 times more the capital. But he's also getting the same rate of return. But you see the impact of compounding. Age of 50, his 10 rupees becomes 20. Age of 55, it becomes 40. Age of 60, it becomes 80. So what it means is that you're only getting an 8-time growth in 15 years, whereas a person who starts at 25, he is having 128 times growth. So can you understand the importance of starting early? Type E in the comment box if you are understood why we need to start early. I cannot show you a better example. The best time to start investing was maybe from the day you start to earn money. If you're just done the 10% money management system, imagine how your life would have been if you just done this money management system. How many of you believe that if you just followed this money management system, your life would have been totally changed right now? If you had followed from the day you earned money, you earned your first salary, your life would have been totally changed right now. But yes, some of us, we realize the importance of money late. So what we need to do is like start with what you have, start right now. That's the secret to getting successful in the money world. Start with what you have. Say if you're not done any investing, start with at least 500 per month, something where you create that habit. So I'm going to share with you another thing. So this one is an example or an illustration which I have, and this will completely blow off your mind. So how many of you have children? Children who are maybe less than the age of 5 or 7 or 10. How many of you have children less than the age of 10, maybe 10? A lot of you might have. So what in our life, probably in your life, you'd have realized you should have started investing a lot earlier. Warren Buffett started investing at age of 11. So if you have a child, you can create them an early start. I will show you this example. And this example, if you can understand what impact your child can get, this is something which you need to implement. Just implement this. You will create a magic for your children in terms of how you can compound your money. So I'm going to share this one. So imagine that you're investing 10,000 rupees per month. That is 1.2 lakhs per year, right from the day your child is born. So it is 10,000 per month, which means it is like 1.2 lakhs a year. If you're doing it right from the day child is born, so it becomes 12 lakhs in 10 years. So if you're doing it for 18 years, what happens? Let's look at, if you're investing in assets which can grow at double digits, maybe 15%, which is possible, which has happened in India in the last 40 years. What would happen if someone invested 10,000 rupees per month? What will happen to this investment when the child turns 18? Any guesses? Any guesses? What would be the amount? Just 10,000 rupees, 1.2 lakhs a year, 12 lakhs in 10 years. It becomes 21.6 lakhs in 18 years. Let me show you the number, which will completely change your perspective of compounding. So what happens is like 10,000 rupees per month. If you do it every month, your child is born. Once your child is born, you continue till your child is 18. At the age of 18, your child will have 1.1 crore. Type M for magic, magic of compounding. What we learned. How many of you are inspired by this magic? If you're just thinking this is the magic, I want. This is a very simple thing. Just 10,000 rupees, you're investing in an asset. It compounds, it creates, it grows by 15%. At the end of 18 years, your child will have around 1.1 crore. And I want you to focus now. I want you to focus on the next thing which I'm going to share, which will even more change what you think about compounding. Just look at this data which I'm going to share, my friends. Let us see, your child is 18, he's just stepping into college, and you continue that compounding. You're not breaking the compounding, but you continue that compounding for the next 7 years when your child turns 25. So what you do is like you continue that compounding. So what happens when your child is 25 is that you are adding another 8.4 lakhs to the capital. So this value of 21.6 lakhs in the next 7 years, you are adding just another 8.4 lakhs to make it 30 lakhs. But do you know what happens to the corpus? Any guesses? What happens to the corpus? The total maturity value. You're just adding another 8.4 lakhs. Your total amount invested is just around 30 lakhs. What happens this? Just watch this carefully, my friends. Just watch this. So when you're continuing this for 25 years, till your child is 25, this is what happens. Can you see the magic here? This is the magic, guys. Another 8.4 lakhs is your net capital addition. Can you see the real compounding here? 1.1 crore in the next 7 years multiplies to 3.3 crore. You're just adding another 8.4 lakhs. Can you see? How many of you got this magic? How many of you are really not able to comprehend? Your mind is going crazy. Like, how is this possible? Type M if you're seeing the magic of compounding. This is real data which I'm showing. So this is the power of compounding, guys. And now your child is now getting into a job. And what you can do is that once your child is getting into a job, you just teach him the principle of compounding. You just teach this principle and ask them. Maybe they are having a very good salary when they are age 25. You just ask them that they continue that compounding. So you teach them that in the next 5 years, they are only going to add the same 10,000, Maybe they are earning in few lakhs every month, and they are just adding the same 10,000 rupees, and they're doing 1.2 lakhs a year as investment. They're doing it for the next 5 years. And what you're seeing here is that they are adding another 6 lakhs. So that makes it 36 lakhs from the age the child is born till age of 30. And now you're going to see the magic. So this is what happens. So if you're adding another 6 lakhs, can you see this power? Magic of compounding. This investment corpus is now 7 crore. 7 crore. Type M for magic of compounding. Some of you are asking where you will get this. I'm going to show you where it is possible, where it has happened in India over the last 40 years, where it is the only asset class which you can say which can beat inflation. And now what you do is like, just imagine that your child is doing for the next 10 years of his life. He's adding another 1.2 lakhs from the age of 31 till the age of 40. And you will really get the big magic of compounding right now. Because in the next 10 years, he's adding this 12 lakhs, which becomes 48 lakhs. And you will be able to see this happening. And this is what happens. In the next 10 years, this 7 crore corpus grows into 48 lakhs. Can you see the value? This 7 crore corpus grows into around this 48 lakhs grows into 31.4 crores. So this is the compounding happening. Type M for magic of compounding, really mind-blowing. Warren Buffett understood this at the age of 11, or at least he knew that compounding was very powerful. And today compounding is money for the last 80 years. And that's why he's one of the top 5 richest persons, because he understood the rule of compounding. So if you know someone, a parent who has a child, or if you have a child, can I get a commitment that you will apply this? Maybe in your life, you personally have started it late. I started investing maybe at the age of serious investing at the age of 19, 20. Type C for commitment. C for commitment and C for compounding. So you're committing this. If you are understanding this, I want you to at least tell to anyone, maybe your friend or a colleague who has a child, ask them to start investing, because this is the greatest miracle which can help you. The earlier you start, you have a lot of time. You can create a great life for your children. So this is all about compounding. And how many of you are convinced that starting early is the secret in wealth creation? Type E if you understand that starting early. Type E in the comment box. Starting early. Early start can really rocket you into the compounding growth. Got it, friends. How many of you are learning something today? Are you enjoying the learning? Type yes. Okay. Some of you are having doubts, but please understand that we have few hundred people in this session and it is not possible to answer all the questions. So please post your questions in the Q&A link. I promise that most of the questions, 90% of the questions I will be able to answer. Some of the questions I am not very clear because it is too personal. I don't have a complete data. So understand that without full inputs, I may not be able to give a right opinion or a right view for you to act on. But let me do my best. So I promise you that whatever questions you are posting in the comment, in the Q&A link, I will answer it tomorrow. I'll post it in the group chat. So some of your questions are answered, but if you still have questions, just wait till the end of the session. I will show you everything. So don't worry, my friends, because my commitment is that By tomorrow, you'll have total clarity. And I want you to see results, because you're investing in this program and you're coming here. I want you to see real results in your life. So let's look at this. Compound interest is the eighth wonder. He who understands earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Looking at this quote, can you tell me what is the next mistake? Can you tell me what is the next mistake? Can you tell me what is the next mistake? Excuse me, guys. Okay, some of you got it. You're bang on, guys. Shraddha, Redmi, sorry, borrowing, Priya, Vikas. So this is the one. This is negative compounding. More than compounding. We have seen the positive compounding, it's helping you. But some of you in your life, you are having compound interest. Compound interest is fighting against you. That's a dangerous game. Because remember, compound interest, every day it is growing its power. How many of you have noticed that there is something called the Hydra? There is a Hydra. How many of you have noticed that Hydra? Anyone knows about the Hydra? What is Hydra? So Hydra is an organism. What happens is that if you cut one of its arm, it will grow a new arm. So same way, some of you are fighting against debt. Negative compounding, you're trying to win against negative compounding, but your debt is growing bigger and bigger. So what is happening is that every time you are fighting against debt, end of the month, debt is becoming bigger and you do not have the tool to fight against the debt. How many of you notice that? So some of you who are in debt, you will be finding that you are struggling. Every time you're repaying the loan, at the end of the year, you're finding that you've repaid so much and you're still in the same situation. I've been in that situation in 2008. I found out like it was crazy. Seeing the outstanding, seeing the interest, everything, it was crazy, and it was something which was not unimaginable. The stress which you have when you're in debt, it cannot be explained. The moment you're debt free, that you will suddenly find that you have so much room for creativity. How many of you have gone through that? The stress of debt, repaying loans, handling your people who have lent you money. So much of time is lost in firefighting. You're just making sure that the situation is under control. But the moment you're debt free, you have a complete, I would say, a vacuum created, and it gives you the freedom to be creative. You're no longer under that pressure. I was under debt. I was in paying EMIs right from 2005-6. And till 2013, I was paying interest. I was seeing that money getting debited. The first time I became debt free, I can imagine that feeling that there is no debit in your bank account. Otherwise, all you see your SMS notifications. The first time you see there is no debit in your bank account, you suddenly find that that's an aha moment. No debits, no EMIs, nothing is getting debited in your bank account. Only you're receiving credits, and that's a wonderful feeling to have. So let's look at it. There is two types of debt: good debt and bad debt. So what is good debt? Good debt is something where you're investing and you're creating an asset which can grow. That is a good debt. Bad debt is something where you're investing and some cases you're not investing, you're just spending away. So it depends on how you are able to manage. Very few people are taking good debt. Majority of us are taking bad debt. So we are looking at some rules of debt right now. So what we're going to do is like, I'm going to share with you, there are some rules for EMI. How many of you want to know? I'm paying EMIs. I want to know, are there some rules? So I'm going to share this. It's a simple thumb rules for EMI. How do you look at EMIs? Remember, when I am saying everything, we only cover the point of view of personal finance. I'm not covering anything which is related to business finance here, because business rules are very different. It differs from sector to sector, industry to industry, depending on your profit margin, depending on your market share. That's a different game altogether. What we're dealing is on a personal finance level, on an individual level, basically on how you manage your family's finances. So let's look at this. So what are the rules of EMI? There are three things which you can go in for a EMI. One, you can go in for a home loan. You can go in for a vehicle loan, maybe a car loan. Third, you can go in for education loan. I've not mentioned education, but these are the three loans which you are taking. You are okay to take this, but this also depends on certain limits in your life. Type yes if you got this first rule clear. Because when I see this, I'm seeing the younger generation a little crazier, because my parents never had a credit card, and they got a very credit card very late in their life, and they lived, at least I know the earlier generation lived a life without credit card. Their life was peaceful. But somehow the present generation, what we are seeing is like, they have a credit card, and somehow they made a mess, because they got credit, but they were not able to manage it. But I'm saying the next generation. I was speaking to one of my nephews, and I'm finding it crazy that he's in college and he's buying uh, jeans on an EMI. How many of you are seeing this crazy thing? You're buying a jeans on your EMI. I'm wondering what is the level where people are getting into debt. You look at the US currently, US is more of a debt-driven economy. People have borrowed heavily. They are living on paycheck to paycheck. So you need to understand what is happening. Are you managing your finances right? Because if you get into too much of debt, then your life will be a big mess. So this is the first rule of EMI. This is the second rule of EMI. What is the second rule of EMI? The second rule of EMI is that if you're buying a home loan should have, like, imagine your home costs you 1 crore, at least 1/3 should be your own capital. 2/3 can be borrowed money. 1/3 can be your own capital, 2/3 can be match borrowed money. Because today, if you are earning good, you will be eligible to buy a home, sometimes taking 80%, 90% on credit. 90% can be funded by the banker. But remember, a banker is funding you not based on the value of the home as the primary reason, but he's funding you based on your repayment capacity. How many of you are getting this? He's funding you based on what is your salary slip, what is your money coming in, whether you are eligible to be servicing the loan. So the key thing for him is that he's not looking much on the property value. He's just looking at whether you are eligible to repay him. And if you are borrowing 90% of the home value, you will find that your situation is that a majority of your payment is only going towards servicing of this. So this is something where you are only buying a home which is within your limits. You're not overstretching it. How many of you are getting this? You're buying a home which is within your limits. Because your paycheck, you can overstretch and still end up in a huge loan that leaves you in a situation where all your salary is only going for repayment. You are not creating any investing. Remember, a home is not an asset because you're primarily staying it. So you need to create some assets. So this is the logic behind this. So type yes if you got clarity here. At least see 1/3 should be your own capital. So if you're having 60 lakh worth of home, at least close to 20 lakh should be your own capital. The down payment should be at least coming from your own capital. So this is one of the rules. Let's see what else. What else is available? So the third rule, this is a very important rule, very interesting rules also. So let me share on this rule right now. Your home loan match should be only 30% of your salary. Take home. You should not exceed more than 30%, maybe 35%. All your EMIs should only constitute 40%. All EMIs should be only 40%. Because why is this? Because if you're earning 100, you are saving 10, you are learning another 10, charity another 10, that leaves you with 70. So if your EMIs are 40, that leaves you with 30. With that 30%, you need to take care of all your expenses in the family. So if you're making this EMI go beyond this 40%, what it means, some of you may have a 50%, 60%, 70% of EMI, then it leaves with very little money for you to look at managing your other expenses. Your lifestyle gets compromised. You are compromising on your investing and other wealth creation aspects, because what is happening is that majority of this is into just servicing of the home loan. Type yes if you got this. Okay, so let's look at the next rule, rule number 4. Rule number 4. This is a good rule. I'll explain this rule. What you need to do is like, you need to take the amount which you're going to pay as an EMI before you take the home loan. What you're going to do is like, you're going to see, can you open a recurring deposit for 6 months and see that if you're having that financial discipline to repay the housing loan. So what you're doing is like, let us take your buying a 50 lakh home and your EMI comes to 40,000 rupees. Before you take this home loan, before you're planning of buying a home, you need to see whether I am having the discipline of making a 40,000 rupees as a recurring deposit every month or a fixed deposit every month for at least a period of 6 months to 12 months. So what I'm doing is like, I'm doing a check on my financial discipline to maintain this. So if I'm not able to do, it's an indication that if I take a loan, I will not be able to repay. I'm going to struggle. Because a lot of times on paper, it looks easy. This is my take home and this is what is the loan. But when it comes to real life, there are some things, sometimes unexpected expenses. Sometimes you think you can do it, but in reality, you're not able to do it. So to overcome these challenges, it is better to see if you can maintain that financial discipline, because the cost of it, you're going to have a positive impact, because the recurring deposit amount, you can use that amount and use this as a down payment, and it will reduce your outstanding. And at the same time, you'll have the confidence that you can maintain this for a period of 6 months, 12 months. That confidence will help you to look at investing further. How many of you got this? How many of you think it's a good idea? This is one of the good things, like it gives you a check. Am I really eligible to pay this loan? So just look at this. If you are someone who's considering to buy a home, I know some of you are planning, you've asked me maybe in the Q&A, but I want you to see, are you having that financial discipline? Can you repay this loan? So do this and your life will change. Because you will know exactly that if you have the discipline of doing the RD, you will repay your home. Let's look at the next rule. This is for the car which you're buying. The value of your car should not be more than 5% of your net worth. So this is another rule. So what you're doing here is that if you're investing in a car, and if your net worth is nothing but your assets minus liabilities. If your net worth is around 1 crore, the value of your car should not be more than 5 lakhs, 5%. Because what happens if you're buying a car which is way beyond your affordability? Maybe you are financially capable to buy it, but it does not actually match with your net worth. Then what it means is that you are spending money on a depreciating asset. So if your net worth is say just 20 lakhs and you end up buying a 10 lakh car, that means you're depreciating, you're investing in a depreciating asset. So focus on the net worth. And then you can look at doing it on your own. Focus on your net worth, and then you can have your net worth funding your aspirations, like buying a dream car. So if your net worth is 4 crores, then you can buy maybe a 20 lakh car. But until you are reaching that, first focus is on creating assets. So net worth is nothing but your assets minus liabilities. All your assets minus liabilities, and don't put your home, which you stay, as an asset. Type yes if you got this. And you'll be really shocked. If you look at some of the greatest people who have created wealth in India, I was once told that Azim Premji had once bought a second-hand car from his own team. Azim Premji, who was worth thousands of crores, he once bought a car which is second-hand from his own team. Can you imagine that? What is the level of simplicity these people have? They are not very lavish in terms of spending it, but they are looking at things as they are. How many of you found value in the rules of EMI? Type me if you got more clarity on this. Type me if you got a clarity on these rules. So how many of you have home loans? Home loans. I'm going to share something for people who are having home loan. Home loans. So who has home loans? Okay, some of you are having home loans. So if you're having home loan, I want you to check rule number 1. Is it under a MCLR rate or a repo rate? This is the first rule you should check. Because how many of you are aware of this rule? MCLR repo linked. Okay, I'll tell you what is the big difference here. So most people aren't aware, but let me explain this. So what happens is that in a bank, there are 2 types of rate. One is a MCLR benchmark rate. In the same bank, another one is a repo linked lending rate. So if you have taken a loan prior to 2020 or 2019, your rates will be under the MCLR category. So, but the banks were actually asked by RBI to also introduce a repo linked lending rate. And usually the repo linked lending rate is an external benchmark. So MCLR is like internal to the bank. Repo linked lending rate, RBI decides the rates, the repo rate. So when RBI adjusts the rates, the rate cuts will be much faster to the customers. So what here happens, in the same bank, let us take you're borrowing 50 lakh and you're borrowing for 20 years. In MCLR, you're going to pay 42,000, and in repo, you're only going to pay 41,000, because this will be around 0.25% cheaper, 0.35% cheaper. Per month, you're saving 1,000. But imagine if you're having a 20-year loan, this small change will save you around 2.6 lakhs. So if you're having a home loan, the first thing I want you to do on Monday is to check with your bank whether it is an MCLR or a repo link, and get more clarity on this. Type me if you will commit. You'll commit to doing this. If you're already doing it, that is fine. But for some of you who haven't known about this, I want you to be aware of this. Because remember, it is not the banker's responsibility to pass the rate benefit. You as a consumer, it is entirely your responsibility to understand the rates have come down, and you should go to the bank and ask them to give you the benefit of the lower rate. Banks will not do it unless you ask for it. This is a sad truth, friends. Banks will not do it unless you ask for it. Because for the banks, they are more profitable if they lend to you at a higher rate. So let me be very frank. And this is one thing which you need to do. I have had participants in my workshop over the last several workshops which I have done. This single thing, they would have at least saved anywhere between 5 lakhs. I have also seen some participants who have saved around 20 months of EMI, all with this simple thing. So this is a very powerful thing, immediate benefit. Immediate benefit. So need to talk to your banker and get this thing clarified. Got it, friends? So let's look at this. So there are some levels of debt. So what are the 3 levels of debt? So there are 3 levels. One is people who are in border zone, people who are in danger zone, and people who are in disaster zone. So you need to understand that even your debt, you have different levels. The complexity or the intensity of your debt varies. So let's look at what are those people who are in border zone. People who are in border zone can manage paying EMI with the current income. So that means their level is within that 40% limit. Debt is fine to some extent. If it is a home loan, then it is probably a low cost debt, but it should be within 40%. So these are people who are in border zone. Type clear if you got this. Type clear if you got this. Who are people in border zone? Type clear. They are within that 40% limit. So they have income, they have cash flow coming in. Maybe they are doing a business or they're getting a paycheck, salary. They are repaying the notes. They are capable of repaying. For them, debt is not a problem. But the challenge here for these people is that what happens to them if the cash flow stops or they have a change in the cash flow? Some of my friends, they had a COVID impact, and which it means that their paychecks got cut. So in that situation, from border zone, you can slip into danger zone. So what you need to do is you need to consciously focus on how I can increase my income. How I can increase my income so that you can go to the next level where you earn more money. So you're still within the limits and still you can come out of the debt. Okay. The next thing is that people who are in danger zone. People who are in danger zone are somewhere who are exceeding that 40%. So someone is earning, say, 100,000 rupees, like he's earning a lakh of rupees, and all his debt, repayment, EMIs, everything comes to around, let us take 70,000 rupees, then you are in danger zone. So if you are in danger zone, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you do whatever it takes so that you come back to border zone. How many of you getting it? Danger zone is more than 40%. That means a major portion of your money, you're having 2 bosses. You're working for repaying the loan. The second boss is the one who's asking you all the interest, and you're working for him because you have bills to pay. So this is one solution, is that you identify some idle assets which you are having. You identify your idle assets, and what you need to do is you need to sell those assets and bring down your debt. So sometimes what happens, you might have a loan. At the same time, you might have some idle gold. You might have a loan. You might have a fixed deposit also. FD is giving you 6%, but your loan is around 10-11%. So what you need to do is identify things which you can help you to look at bringing your debt under manageable levels. Type clear if you understood what is danger zone. Type clear if you got this clear. You need to work. You need to work on one, bringing down this, and two, increasing yourself, increasing you as a potential, in your potential to grow as a person who can earn more. The third one is people who are in disaster zone. So what are people who are in disaster zone like? People who are in disaster zone, even if they sell all their assets, they cannot pay the EMI with the current income, even if they sell all their assets. So that means they're earning 100,000, but their EMI, interest, everything is more than 100,000. So what they are doing is, like, end of the month, they are borrowing more and getting into more debt. How many of you got this disaster zone? How many of you getting it? It is like you're earning 100, but your debt repayment is more than that. You are in a big problem. And you need to pay close attention, because what happens is that if you are not focusing here in this place, you can end up in a big mess. So what you need to do is, like, you need to see what you can do. Maybe talk to your borrowers. You can come out with a loan repayment plan or deferment of that interest for some time. You can say to your borrowers, I'll pay everything, but you're charging too high. Can we renegotiate on that interest payment? Can we bring it down? Or you can say that, give me a 2-year sort of a interest holiday. I will repay everything after 2 years. So that is one thing you can do. Another thing what you can do is, like, you can look at restructuring of the loan. You can, like some of the banks, you can go and say that, can you consider restructure all my loans and consider it as one loan? All my other loans, put it and say that this is one loan. I'll make sure that I'm going to pay. Another thing what also you can do is, like, you can talk to your well-wishers, your friends, someone who is really interested in your growth, and you can tell them that, yes, just trust me. I want some money where you lend it to me interest free, but I will be able to repay it, and make sure that you honor the commitment, because your word is very important in the money world. You have to honor your word. And fourth thing, which is very important, is that, see, currently you are making mistakes. It means that your money management skills are weak. You are made some mistakes, which is got you into the situation. You need to identify what caused this problem and put a hole, plug those holes. Stop those money leaks happening in your finances. So you need to identify what causes this. Maybe I know some people, they are trading. They're over trading, they're borrowing money, they're still investing, they're hoping that someday they will make a profit. So this is very dangerous when you're borrowing money, investing. I made this mistake 2007, 2008. So just make sure that, one thing, you need to focus on your current money level which you're earning, and see what you can do to earn 2x more. How you can look at doubling your income, what skills you need, and focus on that skill. If I'm earning 100,000, just look at what should I do to make my income as 200,000, and look at applying those skills. Find how soon you can acquire those skills. Because when I started out in terms of my training, I was finding that I started with 300 rupees. I got 300 rupees for a half a day session. I found that people were not valuing my skills, but slowly I started to upgrade. And when I started my certifications, when I did my programs, people recognized that I am something where I'm adding value, and they started to pay me more. So start to see if you can command a better premium in the way you're having your services, your products, which can help you to earn more money. So how many of you clear with the three things? Border zone, danger zone, disaster zone. Type yes if you got clear with this. Type yes if you got clear with this. Okay. So what else? So some of the examples of negative compounding, I'll share some. What are the examples of negative compounding? These are some of the examples. Stuck money. Stuck money is money which is yours, which is currently gone to someone else who's not repaid you. So it's an asset. Money, you've earned that money, it's an asset. But that asset which is you created, it has gone into someone else's pocket and it is not coming back to you. How many of you have had stuck money issues? It's very dangerous. Stuck money. Stuck money is a sign that you are having not dealing your money in the right way. The second thing is like having credit card debt. Anyone knows what is the interest in credit card? Credit card debt. Credit card debts. One of the most dangerous things which I'm finding in the current situation. A lot of people, yeah, it is around 3% to 3.5%. But remember, it is compounded monthly. So if you look at the real cost of credit card debts, it comes to 42 to 48%. So credit card debt is one of the most dangerous things. So what you need to do is like you need to look at managing your credit card in the right way so that it does not impact you. So what you need to do is like, for example, like if you're looking at someone who's around, let us take, they are currently having a debt of say a lakh of rupees. And if this person is only paying a minimum amount due, does anyone know how long will it take for them to repay the loan? 1 lakh of rupees, if you're just paying the minimum amount due, how long will it take? How long will it take? Any guesses? Minimum amount due, how long will it take? Okay, some of you are saying year and a half, some of you are saying 3 years. Sushant is saying 10 years. Okay, Sunil gets it right. You will never repay. You will never repay. Why? Because just look at the minimum amount due. The minimum amount due always stays the minimum amount due. And if you just keeping on repaying it, there are charges added to it and it keeps growing. So that is the one which is going to grow forever and you will never be able to repay. And banks really want you to be like this. Because why? Because they want you to get into the habit of being a profitable customer. So they make every possible I would say like offer which tempts you to buy into credit. How many of you seen that of late there has been a lot of things when you buy it on a EMI you get it cheaper? How many of you are seeing offers? If you pay in lump sum, you're getting it the same thing, but the EMI is a little cheaper. You're getting some discounts, you're getting cashback, sometimes you're getting interest free EMIs. Why all this? Because remember that every company out there in the world, every big company, they all want you to spend future money and they want you to make sure that you're not looking at the money which you have, but you're looking at, like, say, if you want to buy a mobile phone which costs you 30,000 rupees, they don't want you to look at 30,000 rupees, but instead they wanted to see whether you can pay 2,500 for 12 months. How many of you get this? They want more people to buy their products which they can't afford by getting into credit. Very dangerous, because today you're buying something which you can't afford it. Like so many people are getting into gadgets, electronic goods, but they're not really having that money upfront. They are more into getting into credit. And this is a habit which banks really like, because once you become a customer who's not able to repay, you are a customer forever. And the third one is like loans. You're borrowing money, you're paying around 10, 11, 12% rate. And if you're not earning that, that's very dangerous. The fourth one is assets which is yielding a low return, especially if you're bought on loan. Like some of you have borrowed money, you have invested in a piece of land or a real estate, But today, if you calculate, do the math and find out what is the real rate of return which you're getting, it is much lesser than the interest which you have paid. So are you clear with the examples of negative compounding? Type yes if you got clear in this. Type yes if you got clear. I'm trying to go in depth because each one is a different topic, but I'm giving you an idea how to get this calculated. Got it, friends? So the next one, the mistake number 3, missing out on the tax advantage. So let me share on this. So there are 4 quadrants. We read this on day 1: employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. So among these 4 quadrants, which one of the quadrants has the lowest rate of tax if you are earning a crore, maybe? Which one do you think? If you're earning a crore from each one of the quadrants, which one do you think has the lowest amount of taxes? Okay, some of you are getting it right. The best quadrant to be in is the I quadrant. So because if you're an employee, you might end up with the highest tax, maybe 42%. Self-employed, the same thing. Business owner, you're paying around 25%. But if you're an investor has the best one because you pay 10% on the long-term capital gains. You just pay 10%. So this one is one of the best quadrants to be because that is something which is really going to be very attractive. So make sure that you pay attention to your taxes because a lot of times I feel like many people, especially if you're employees, you're not aware of what exactly is the tax benefits. So you need to pay attention because money, remember, it's not only what you're earning, but a large portion goes away as taxes. And if you can optimize your taxes, more money stays with you. How many of you get this? If you can optimize the taxes, if you can cut down the taxes, more money stays with you. I'll show you one example. So this is an example of a popular choice where everyone goes in for a fixed deposit. So in a FD, imagine you are getting around 7.25%. You are going to get 23,000 as interest for a 1 lakh FD in 3 years. But this 23,000 rupees, you're going to pay a tax of 7,000 and your amount in hand is only 16,000 odd. Same thing if you're holding in a debt fund. I'm saying a bond fund here in this example. And if the bond fund yields around this percentage, 7.25%, very, very similar to your FD. You're getting the same 23,000 here, but here in bond fund, you have the benefit of cost of inflation index, where if only the gains, which is the difference between the actual return and the cost of inflation index, on that differential amount, you're going to get taxed. It's slightly a taxation related stuff, but remember here, the tax which you're going to pay is only 1,500 in this case compared to 7,000 here, which most people do because we only know we have been taught this way. Open an FD. I know so many people, they're too busy that they can't think, so they have a lot of money, so they just they park their money to FD. But remember, FD is the least tax efficient way. If you're a rich person, then FD is the least tax efficient way. If you're in a 30% tax bracket, you shouldn't look at FDs as an option. You should look at some better options. This one is a taxation issue. If you're in a 30% tax bracket, that means anyone who's earning more than 10 lakhs as income, if you're an employee or a business, you should not look at an FD because the post-tax returns are very, very less. Always compare what is the return I'm getting after my taxes. Don't look at pre-tax, look at post-tax returns. So let's move on to the next mistake. This is the mistake number 4. I'm going to share on what is the mistake number 4. It is like mistake here is that you're investing for long term. Maybe it's like your retirement or something like a 10-year time horizon. But the mistake here which you're doing is that you're investing in assets which are not beating inflation. Very, very painful. So you're investing for long term. but you're not looking at assets which are beating inflation. Yesterday, we looked at inflation around a case study. How many of you remember that case study? 30 age 30, 40,000 rupees in 50 years, it becomes almost 100 times. So if you're investing in assets which is not beating inflation, then this is the challenge. So I'm just showing you what is the scenario right now. So the retail inflation is around 7%. This is the data which has come from the newspapers. And these are the rates for a State Bank of India fixed deposit rates. So if someone, this is pre-tax, before tax, if inflation is this much and you are investing in this, are you making money or are you losing money? Are you winning or losing? Type L or lose if you understand that you're losing money to inflation. Always calculate what is the real rate of return. Don't go by numbers here. Calculate what is the real return after inflation. That is the key thing. What is in the hand? See, if I'm investing something, 100 rupees, that 100 becomes 107. That is 7% inflation, but my 100 is actually only gaining 4% because of taxes and 6%. I'm getting 4%. That means every year I'm losing 3% in FDs because that is the real value. So if you're having 10 lakh in your FD, that means you're losing 30,000 rupees every year. That's the real impact of inflation. Next, so what are the opportunities? So let me share. A lot of us, we are clear with these assets. So there are 5 different assets which I picked up: gold, silver, fixed deposits, PPF, and equity. Now I want to ask you that if I give you a question, like which would have given the best return in the last 40 years, I want you to find out what is the answer. Which should have given the best return? Type in your own guess. What is your guess? Okay, some of you are saying gold, some of you are saying equity. Okay, some votes are, people are going for gold. Okay. Okay. So let me show you real numbers because I wanted to show you why in the long term equities are the best asset class. So let's look at this. And this is a 40-year data. So this is from 1981. So someone invested 1 gram of gold in 1981. A gram of gold was costing 167 rupees a gram. Today it is around 5,000. So if you have invested 1 gram of gold, your money would have multiplied by 30 times. If you had invested 1 kg of silver, it was 2,700. It has gone to 67,000. If you had looked at investing in FD, the average return for the last 40 years is 8.6. But there were periods like in the 90s, FD was even around 14%, but today it is dipping below 6. So FD would have given you 27 times. PPF, a tax-free investment, 9.4% was average, but today we are at a 47-year low in PPF, which is around 7.1%. So your money would have multiplied 35 times. Stocks, if you had put in a lakh, would have made around close to 200 times. What I'm saying is the index returns here in the stocks. There have been individual stocks which have grown up much more. So clearly you can see that the winner is in stocks. If you want to master wealth creation, you need to master this. How do you create money in stocks and equities? Equity, stocks, mutual funds. This is one area which you need to pay attention, because if you're not investing in this, that is the biggest danger. Because a lot of times people say, yes, equity investing. But what you need to understand that in equity, we need to understand that one thing is very important, that there is something called volatility and risk. What is volatility? Volatility is like something like prices like this, up and down movement, but over a period of time, it is increasing. So you start at 1, here it becomes 10. So what is risk? Risk is something like this. You start here, your 10 becomes 1. So here it is, price is volatile, up and down movement is there. So this is perfectly fine, but this is a permanent loss of capital. This you should avoid. So this, if you can know the skill to avoid this permanent loss of capital, and if you are comfortable with volatility, you will make money. How many of you get this point? Very important point. Volatility is fine, but risk of permanent loss of capital is dangerous. So if you can have that skill, that you can avoid the permanent loss of capital, you will make money in stocks. If you will be successful in equities, because a lot of times people think it's risky, but not compounding your money is even riskier. Not growing your money, keeping all your money in assets which is not beating inflation, that's the highest risk, because 100% you will not beat inflation. So what are the mistakes which people do? People do some asset allocation mistakes. So what happens is that some of the asset allocation mistakes is that when you're having money, if you're having excess allocation to real estate, that's one mistake. Not understanding asset cycles. That means every asset will have an up and down cycle. So that is another mistake. The third mistake is that being fearful. Like some of you, how many of you have that fear that what happens if the market crashes? How many of you get this fear? What happens when the stock market crashes? Can I invest all my money? Is it safe? So these are the assets, the asset allocation mistakes. So you should look at overcoming these mistakes. You should look at not doing these mistakes. So Sunil is asking, is mutual fund assets? So if mutual funds is investing in equities, then it follows under the equity allocation. Under equity allocation, you'll have mutual funds, you'll have stocks, you'll have PMS, you'll have different asset classes, you'll have international stocks. So all this comes under equity allocation. How many of you clear basic asset allocation mistakes? Are you getting it? Like people, one, they put all their money into real estate, so they have their spread is not there. Otherwise, they are not understanding that every asset has its cycle. And third thing, too much of fear about equity investing. So some of the rules of asset allocation, I'm going to share some basic rules. Diversify between fixed income, gold, equity. For anything less than 5 years, use FDs, debt funds. Don't risk that money into equities. Like if you have a goal, which is next year, maybe you're planning for your child's education, don't put that money into equities. That money should be safe. You should not risk that money into equities. But suppose you're having long-term goal, maybe something it's like your child is just in primary school and that goal is like another 10 years, 8, 9, 10 years away, that you want to grow that capital, then you can invest that money into equities. You're planning for retirement, then use a combination of equities, maybe a little bit of PPF, real estate for this. Understand that real estate also has an up and down cycle. Understand that this also, you need to understand real estate does not go in a straight line. It has up and down. And I have some money in gold. When I say gold, don't look at buying jewelry, because jewelry is not an investment. Maybe for ornamental purpose, that is fine. But jewelry, remember, is something where you have a wastage happening and the resale value is not good. Even if you buy gold coins, you will have GST being paid. So the best one is like you buy a sovereign gold bond where for holding gold, you get 2.5% interest from the government. So if you want some allocation in gold, maybe some small allocation, use sovereign gold bonds. So these are some of the asset allocations rules. Type yes if you got this clear. Type yes if you got this clear. Type yes if you got this clear. So let's come to the next mistake. Mistake number 5 is that what is the biggest risk today? Anyone knows what is the biggest risk in today's world? The biggest risk in today's world. Yes, Shraddha gets it right. It's what happens to your family in case the earning member of the family passes away. What happens to the financial situation of the family? Is the family having enough money to survive such a situation? It's a very tough topic. So the concept of insurance. So for this, you need to understand what exactly is an insurance. I'll explain it in a simple way so that you get it, the concept of insurance. Insurance is something where the insurance company compensates for the financial loss of the earning member's loss of life. So if the breadwinner of the family, God forbid, something happens to him and he's no longer alive, the insurance company pays this money so that the family members can invest this money even in a safe instrument like an FD, and it compensates for the money which the family member would have earned. So this is the actual concept of insurance. So what are the rules of insurance? So what it means, like, let us take an illustration. If someone is earning 50,000 rupees and his expenses are 50,000, and this person is earning 6 lakh of rupees per annum, and how much insurance this person should need. So the thumb rule is like you should have anything around 15 times your annual expenses. So if you're earning 6 lakh of rupees and your 15 times your cover, you need something like around 90 lakhs as your life cover. 15 times your annual expenses. So God forbid something happens to this person who's earning around 50,000 rupees, the family will get around 90 lakhs to 1 crore. They say taking a 1 crore policy, and this 1 crore, if they deposit this money, even at a 6% rate of interest, they will earn the 6 lakhs, which is equal to the earning of the family member. How many of you got this? How many of you got this? Got this? The concept, how much is the life cover you should have? I explained with this illustration. How many of you got this? Yes. Okay, so this is the one which you need to focus on. 15 times. So let me share on this one. So how much insurance you need? The key points in insurance: do not mix insurance and investment. Do not mix insurance and investment. Some of you are asking how much insurance. So let me explain this once more. 15 times your annual expenses. So 50,000 someone is earning. You are earning 50,000 rupees. You need to have 6 lakhs is your annual expenses. 6 lakhs into 15, which is 90 lakhs. So minimum cover for a person who's spending 50,000 rupees as his expenses should be 90 lakh. 15 times annual expenses. So this is the rule, because a lot of times people are combining insurance and investment. When you combine insurance and investment, what happens is that your cover is not sufficient. So you might get a money back policy. It might give you your money back, but it does not provide a cover. And your returns in a money back policy, if you look at it, are much lesser than an FD rate of return. So neither you are getting an investment right, nor you're getting an insurance cover, and you're stuck with the product forever. How many of you have found this? That you bought something, you don't know why you bought it, you continue to pay premiums, and it is not serving the right cover. Many of my people I've seen, many people, they made a mistake. They got into some insurance, they are keeping on paying, they don't know, is it really valuable, what cover it has. So do all this before you take an insurance. have a health cover. The cheapest form of insurance is a term insurance. But unfortunately, term insurance, not many people are aware, because they, in our mind, we always feel insurance, I pay money, I should get it back. But remember, term insurance is the lowest because it only covers the risk of a loss of life. Else you pay the amount. But what happens when you're having a term insurance is that it saves a lot of unwanted money which is being wasted in the form of unnecessary premium. So what happens is that money which you save in form of a term insurance, by taking a term insurance, you can invest in a good mutual fund or in an equity or in any other asset which can grow in value. So that is one thing, because your traditional policies will not beat inflation, but when you go in for a term insurance, you will be able to get it. And finally, I have seen this again, a lot of people doing this mistake. You buy insurance just because you save tax. You buy insurance because you want to save tax. So many people I know, the only reason they want to do insurance is that they're saving tax. But always remember, tax benefit is an additional one. Don't think as a primary. It's like a bonus which you're getting. Do not consider this as the reason to buy insurance. Always check whether the cover is right, whether the policy will be useful for you, then go in for an insurance. Type yes. Type yes if you got some of the rules of insurance clear, because I've tried to make it as simple as possible so that you don't make mistakes in these. Because I know so many people. How many of you made this mistake? Like someone close to you, maybe your friend, your relative, your neighbor, they joined an insurance company, and they know you, and they ask you for a help because they want some encouragement, they want something. They say that, why don't you buy a policy, and you oblige to them. How many of you have done this mistake? I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but one thing is like, what happens is like, you are an emotional decision to help your friend or someone known to you, but what you're doing is like, you want to genuinely help him, but you're not looking at the product which you're buying. So what happens is like, if you buy a wrong product, it is not serving the purpose. And in some cases, this person maybe is new to the industry. He's not aware of what are the benefits. And after some months, he's not there in this industry. Maybe he gets another uh, job or goes to a different industry. But you're stuck with the policy forever. You're stuck with this policy for the next 10 years. You're continuing to pay your premiums, but your policy is not serving the purpose. So always I would say is like, understand what is it before you do an insurance. Understand what is it, and do not blindly go and buy numbers. You just look at the illustration, see what is the actual performance of these funds, what is the actual return. Because unless you do all this insurance, remember, most people, they do not do the homework. I've seen that many cases, people do not get the right insurance, and they're stuck for a long time. So next time onwards, I wanted to make sure that you are looking at this. Term insurance, the ideal cover should be 15 times, which we have discussed. So get this. So let's come to the next point, the mistake number 6. Mistake number 6. So I'm going to show you a slide. I'm going to ask you, what is that you're seeing and what do you think is the mistake? What is that you're seeing and what do you think is the mistake? What do you think is the mistake? Yes, Rohan gets it right. Rohan, Akash, Anirudh, Kamal, Ashish, all of you guys are right. It's blind following the blind. This is called herd investing, guys. A mistake called herd investing. What is herd investing? In herd investing, what you are doing is that you are buying something because of greed when everyone is buying. So what happens is like, whenever everyone around you is investing, you also go and invest. So that's blindly you're taking a faith because your friend has done some research. He has bought a stock. You ask him and you buy the stock. He's invested in XYZ fund. You invest in the same fund. Your friend has bought a piece of real estate. You also buy the same piece of real estate. So what happens is like you're not doing the research, but you're seeing someone else doing this, and you get a confidence by thinking that this person he has done well, and his decision will be right. So this is very dangerous. I remember that in 2007 peak, that was a time when Reliance Power was one of the IPOs which was very hot. I was investing in the markets from 2002. I was investing for a long time, but I did not have many of my friends investing at that time. But an interesting incident happened. This Reliance Power IPOs had so much of interest that all my friends asked me, how do I open a demat account? So I told them how to open a demat account, and I can you believe it? They stood in a queue during the lunchtime. They opened the demat account. They applied for a personal loan. They all applied in Reliance Power. So that is what happens when there is a lot of greed happening. When there is so much of greed, you just see what everyone is doing, but you don't do the right research. And the same thing happens in the reverse. So when everyone is doing the reverse, that is like when there is a fear, when the market comes down, people blindly sell because they see a lot of panic. This is what happened in 2008 global financial crisis. Uh, People saw US markets coming down. They saw things were not good. People were standing in front of an ICICI ATM because there were rumors that ICICI Bank was used to close down. And there was so much of panic in the markets. Excuse me. So in COVID situation, March 2020, that also happened. There was a lot of fear and people sold. So if you're just doing this, following the herd investing, what happens is like you will buy when everyone is looking at buying and you will sell it at the wrong time. So this is not the big. If you do this, you will not make money. That is one reason why people lose money. Understand that any asset, like for example, if you're investing in gold or especially stocks, what happens is that it cannot be like this. It cannot be like an FD rate of return where it grows straight line. In equities, understand that the market will be volatile. But in the long run, if you're having time as your friend, if you're having compounding working for you, will make money. How many of you get this? Time is your friend in equities. Time is your friend in good assets, in good opportunities. But you cannot get this. You cannot have a straight line thing which you get in FDs. Very important. You need to be mentally prepared for it. If you are not prepared for this, you will not be successful. That's the key for success in asset classes like real estate, like equities, because this one will not move all the time. And the moves will be up and down. Type yes if you got this. Type yes if you got this. What is the importance of this? So let's look at what are some of the rules. I'm going to share some of the rules for investing in equities right now. So these are some of the rules for investing in equities. Equities are the best asset class for long-term wealth creation. Equities are the best asset class for the long-term wealth creation. You need to invest only a surplus money. Money which is not needed in the next 4-5 years, that is the only money which you're investing. Your minimum investment for equities is 5 years. Minimum investment period. When you're investing your money, you should have that capacity that the money which I'm investing, I'm not withdrawing for the next 5 years. And when you're investing and not speculating. Speculation is like you're trying to make every day some profit. Some people do intraday trading. Invest your money. Investing is like planting a seed and making it into a tree which gives fruits. You're planting one seed, but the tree gives multiple thousands and thousands of fruits. And finally, you need to do the right research. Without research, it's like you're trying to cross the road blindly. So need to do the right research. So these are some of the rules of equity. given you simple, if you're putting your long-term money, you have that capacity to wait and you do the right research, you'll be a winner in equities. Tomorrow we'll discuss more. Tomorrow's session we'll discuss on the 3 investing skills of super investors. And our next level program is all about equities, where I'm going to share with you on how we be successful and be in that top 3% of the investors who are very successful in equities. So these are some of the rules of equities. I've just simplified it. Tomorrow we'll discuss more. And final mistake with this, we'll be looking at the mistake 7. What is it? This is a big mistake. Taking advice from broke people. Big mistake. So when it comes to investing, a lot of times I see people talk to their friends or talk to maybe their colleagues and they take in inputs. So it does not happen when it comes to your health. Maybe when it comes to your health, you go and visit a doctor. So if you have any construction, if you're doing any construction, you consult an architect. But when it comes to investing, you go to all different routes and finally you take a decision. Maybe reading a newspaper, maybe checking out on social media, maybe watching a television show. Very dangerous, because you do not know what is the background of the people who is giving you advice. So one of the other things what I'm seeing today is a trend where people blindly trust maybe their relationship managers in the banks, and they are blindly trusting on other intermediaries. But remember one case, one important thing what you need to do is like first find out whether that person has been successful in his life and he created money. You have to find out, like find someone who has been successful, they are successful, whether they have really made money, and then it will really help you. Because what happens is like that is part, because if a person has not even created money for himself, then it is only going to be a big challenge on how he's only going to create a lot of wealth for others. Because there are so many people, they give advice, but really they are employees who are getting paid a salary and they have targets. They are selling you something because that is what is part of their targets. How many of you get this? Most of the times, people who give advice are doing it because they have targets and they have to meet the targets. And honestly, most of them do not know about the products. There are few who are very good, but majority I've seen is like this industry. I've seen is like most people, they just are behind targets and they rarely are investors themselves. And the second question is asked, you should ask this is like, if you want to invest in something, should you really invest in some taking advice from someone who has not created money for himself? So that is going to be a bigger challenge, because who are you going to follow your life? So with these things, this completes the 7 money mistakes which I wanted you all to be aware of. How many of you are making a decision that you will start correcting it from today? Type me if you are taking a decision that you will correct it from today. Type me in the comment box. Great, friends. How many of you found value today? Last 3 days. V for value. V for value. Okay, guys. Tomorrow, a great session. Tomorrow we're going to meet at 8 p.m. I'm going to make sure that we'll have lots more to cover. I'm going to share about the wealth pyramid, how to reach financial freedom, more about financial freedom also, plus on the 3 skills that super investors master. If you can be like a super investor, they are those people who create 90% of the wealth. And finally, I'll also be telling you on how you can go to the next level in terms of your accelerating your journey towards your financial freedom. How many of you want to accelerate your journey towards your financial freedom? Type me if you want to reach your financial freedom much, much faster. So there is an opportunity for you guys tomorrow. I will tell you my level 2 program. level 2 program is something which I will be sharing it. And if you really find value and you want to achieve financial freedom, make the start towards your financial freedom on this Independence Day. I'll give you a very special offer too. My investment, most of my programs get sold out. So I can tell you, like, you need to act fast. My program is 20,000 and I will give you a special offer tomorrow. So don't worry, guys. Look forward to see you tomorrow. How many of you are excited for tomorrow, day 4, and you're going to reach the next level? So how many of you want to go in for my next level program? How many of you want to go in for my next level program? Okay. So some of you want a summary. Don't worry, guys. I'll post it in the group. The first one, which we discussed, is on starting late. The second one is on negative compounding. The third one is on the tax advantage. The fourth one is on um, investing in assets which don't beat inflation. Fifth one is on inadequate insurance. Sixth one is on looking at herd investing. And the seventh one is taking advice from broke people. Okay. So thank you all, guys. And really look forward to see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, keep smiling, and happy investing. Bye-bye.